The idea itself sounds very simple.
在明年，会有一位艺术家，然后跟我们共同去策划一场他自己的展览。那整个的主题是。
It involved a lot of people doing a lot of work behind the scenes to create an open call for visitors to the museum and passers-by the museum, and to offer them the chance to take away a disposable camera, to go away with the idea in their heads of taking photographs of something of the two concepts, either something or nothing. And in a way it's like a trick question, because it's impossible to take a photograph of nothing. Everything is always going to be something. But I just wanted to give them that conundrum so that they didn't take the normal type of photographs they might take. We got over 1,500 images back, which in a way became a problem, because then I had to sift through them and actually select. I could only do 11 paintings in the 11 months that was available, so it became quite a process of selection. I wasn't quite sure what I was looking for, but so once I hit upon the first image, I started to paint that, and then during that month I was in the process of trying to select the second image. So they kind of acted like a chain. I think the whole point about that concept was not really whether they were able to depict nothing, because it's impossible. It was just to create a space so that their gaze became more apparent rather than the objects they're looking at. So that kind of soporific gaze was really what I was trying to pick out in the images and encourage the participant photographers to think about. I mean, they're very mysterious, these images. I think that something or nothing was really a trap to kind of get people to deliver me the most mysterious images, the least explicable images. Even if there are pictures which point at an object and shoot it, like there's the Oriental pair at the tower. You know, it's almost, I think, it's not like a postcard that you would get in a tour shop of Shanghai, the greatest hits of Shanghai. It's wonky. It's even the little caption that person said was that they were distracted from work and bored and were gazing out of the window, and there was the tower, and I don't even know if they really even saw the tower. They just took a photograph out of the window. It's got a little bit of the window ledge, and you get a sense of the borders of the image being a frame that people have looked through, and you're getting more of a sense of the person that's doing the looking as much as the object that's being looked at. So it's kind of mysterious, and you just want to know what were they thinking and things like that. I mean, there's a dog over there. I was just painting it. I didn't even realize it was the tail of a dog. I thought it was its head. You know, I can be making these pictures for a month and not actually see what's there. That was an early one. I think it was the second or third image that I chose, and it popped out of the set, partly formally because of the color and the sort of singularity of it, and it was definitely something. It was a real point and shoot photograph, that one, so I thought, okay, I've done a nothing, I'll do a something, you know. And so there's a light lampshade, but it also really reminded me of Eggleston's very famous photograph. It's called The Red Ceiling. And this is a sort of blue version of it. So it just reminded me, and in the past I've become very interested in appropriation, because I've copied people's artworks. When I was at art college, I was very confused, and I used to change my style of painting every 3 months, if not every 3 weeks. And I shared a studio with a friend called John, and I came in one day and I said to him, I may as well paint the same painting again as paint a new one, you know. And then that just, oh, that's not a bad idea, I could do that. And I went to my storeroom, I had all this terrible work of different styles, and I started to replicate one-to-one scale. You know, it was really quite satisfying because it was a slow process. It was, the end was in sight. The goal and the direction of travel and the finished outcome was already there, and all I had to do is get there. So in other words, I was faking my own work, you know, which was a kind of interesting impossibility. But there was one that was original, but the others were fake, but they were me as well. So it depends what you think fake is and what you think real is, and what's the intention behind them. Because I think the first one, I remember, was a still life. It looked like a Morandi. I didn't even know who Morandi was at the time, but people would always say you're just copying Morandi. So was that first painting any more original to me, or authentic to me, than the second one where I was copying myself using a different part of my brain? So I'm definitely a painter, like an intruder into this museum. People have said this to me constantly, and it sort of amuses me that I can paint like a banal snapshot or of something completely banal and ordinary and overlooked, but use this kind of high art medium that's used in medieval religious painting, etc., to manifest that ordinariness. So that contrast is just kind of amusing to me. What it's like to me is a very deadpan way of painting. So it's a very unfrilly, unsexy, unshiny way of painting. I mean, I think you can make tempera paintings a lot more sexy, but I use a lot of chalk in it and make it matte, and it sort of feels like it muffles the image, so that the reality is always sort of held back and untouchable in a way. It's like behind a veil or a skin of this surface, which is completely opaque the way I paint it. I've always likened it to a shed snake skin, you know, like a lifeless copy of a snake. That's this kind of ghost of a snake that exists. So that's how I quite enjoy that metaphor of the paintings being like ghosts of the image, or spectral quality of the image. One of the most obvious effects, I suppose, is the time that painting with the small brushes and the tempera paint that I do has on the difference between that and the original photograph, which would be 125th of a second or something like that. So the speed of a snapshot and then the prolonged gaze over a month or a month and a half to make my image, and to a point where my image achieves the same pictorial quality as the photograph, so it doesn't really go beyond it, it just gets there and stops. So they're doing the same thing in a way of describing a scene, but before that level, what happens before here is just the photograph comes like that, mine goes slowly up to that point. They're like batteries that are charged with this kind of time. That I think a viewer can tap into and unfold or unlock that energy. Today I calculated I use 3 eggs a day, sometimes 2, but so if you only take a month, that could be 90 eggs. I tell you what does matter, free range eggs. Well, certainly battery eggs are really thin and watery, they really are. They don't have any adhesive stickiness, so they're not got much oil in them basically. So it has to be free range.